Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you beautiful souls watching this blessed video. I am delighted to be reporting from beautiful Vilcabamba, Ecuador. And we're going to talk about water in this video. And I'm going to share with you what water do I drink and ways to purify your water if you have limited access to good drinking water. Okay, so first of all, let's do a quick Q&A. Saeed, what water do you drink? Which water do you drink? Of course, there are so many types of different water out there. There is distilled water, there is spring water, there is bottled spring water, right? So spring water, you can have a system in your house that gets the water directly from a spring or a well or a river or a waterfall. But then there's also bottled spring water, there's carbonated water, alkaline water, vitamin water. So there's so many different types of water out there. It's highly commercialized. And which one do I drink and which one should you drink? I'm gonna tell you which water do I drink, and the answer is none of the above, but maybe I could say distilled water, but it's an entirely different type of distilled water. It's not the stuff you buy from a supermarket, not the stuff you buy from Walmart. The water that I drink primarily, 80 to 90% of the time, is my own distilled water. My own piss. I take the piss. I drink my own piss. I drink my own urine. This one here is aged urine. It's maybe 2 weeks old at this point. I'd say it's 2 weeks old at this point, right? This is what I drink 80 to 90% of the time, but not always aged. You know, aged is very powerful, strong stuff. I drink both aged urine and fresh urine. Fresh urine is you piss, you drink, right? And then aged is you put it in a bottle like this. You can seal the bottle, or you can keep it in a, you can put a cloth on it. I can make a different video on how to age your urine. But basically I will drink maybe half this bottle, half a liter a day. Sometimes a liter, depending. Half a liter of that, and then the rest would be my own fresh urine. And I drink that 80 to 90% of the time. The other 10 to 20% is spring water straight from the river. Right there. Right? See, I can see the river from here. I don't know if you guys can see the river. Anyway, so 10 to 20% is a supplement with river water, which gets filtrated also. We have a water filter here. So the water from the river gets filtrated, and that's 10 to 20% of the time. Sometimes less, sometimes I go 2-3 days just 100% Shivambu. It really depends on my supply of Shivambu. Depends on my supply of my own piss. Because sometimes I want to age the urine, so I take the urine, instead of drinking it, I put it in a bottle and I age it. So then I run low on supply and I need to supplement with water. So 10 to 20% of the time, I would do spring water from the river, filtrated, using a filter to filtrate any stones or anything in the water. And yeah, the other times, it's Shivambu. It's my own piss, which is the best distilled. It's distilled water because your kidneys are distillers. So when you're pissing out, that's basically the most structured, best distilled water you can possibly have access to. So I would say the best water to drink would be your own waters, the water of life, and the next best one would be distilled water. Distilled water is pure water. It's purified of all, and I'm talking about the stuff you buy from the supermarket, the stuff you buy from Walmart. That water is pure water. It's got a pH of 7. It's pure. It's purified of all the impurities in it, of all the elements in it, all the minerals, whether they're beneficial or non-beneficial or harmful. And distilled water is also powerful. It has a negative charge to it. That negative charge goes inside your body and clears out anything with a positive charge. all the acids have a positive charge. All the toxins, all the things that don't belong in your body have a positive charge. And something like distilled water, stuff you get from the supermarket, right? Pure distilled water, that stuff has negative charge to it that attracts the positive, the things with the positive charge to it, and cleanses you out. Your own waters, it's like it's distilled water with a cocktail of minerals, stem cells, antibodies, and beneficial hormones to your body. When you piss out, you have stem cells in your piss. You have antibodies. Antibodies are things that your body, your immune system creates to counter a certain virus, a bacteria. And if you have a strong immune system, you're constantly picking viruses or bacteria or things that are harmful to you, but you're not even feeling the effects because you got a strong immune system. The immune system automatically, instantly creates antibodies that squash that bacteria. So that stuff, the excess antibodies, the excess hormones like testosterone, for example, it comes out in your piss and then you put it right back in your body. So, of course, there's a cocktail of minerals in there, potassium, magnesium. It's like a sport drink, right? It's like the healthiest Gatorade possible. Because, Gatorade's like full of sugars and, like preservatives, blah, blah, blah. This is like the healthy form of Gatorade, right? Of course, if you age it, Shivambu Kalpa, if you age your piss, it's like 100 times more powerful, man, depending on how much you age it. But it's like anywhere from 10 to 1,000 times more powerful than fresh. The stem cells reproduce at a rapid pace, right? Let's not use fancy words right now. They reproduce themselves at a rapid rate. So you've got tons of stem cells in there. It's incredible, right? Your own waters, Shivambu, your own piss. Take the piss. That's all I'm going to say. It's distilled water. It's got a negative charge to it. And, by the way, depending on what you're eating, your urine should be close to, not neutral, pH of 7, right? Maybe a little bit below, maybe slightly acidic, right? But if you're eating strictly fruits, your urine will be at a neutral pH. Now, when you age your urine, it goes into a positive pH, right? It goes up to 8, 9, depending on how much you age it. This stuff is powerful, folks, and I'm going to make another video for Shivambu Kalpa and another video in general for urine therapy and different ways of using urine. I also have these drops. I put them in my nose. They get me high, clean out the mucus off my brain, and send me into like an altered state of consciousness in a positive way. So I will make a different video for that, but basically that's what I drink for 90% of the time, sometimes 100% of the time, is my own waters, the water of life, the magic elixir. Truly is a magic elixir. So then I will supplement with spring water that goes through a pretty good filter. So of course now, when I was in Poland, we didn't have access to distilled water, and I was there for 3 months, and I was drinking tap water the first 2. I hadn't started drinking my own waters at the time yet. I only started in the last month that I was in Poland. So I was drinking tap water at the time, and of course, tap water has got all kinds. It's got a cocktail of toxins in it, right? Thanks to our beloved, loving, caring governments. It's got a cocktail of toxins, harmful substances to your body, right? But there I was drinking it, and to neutralize these toxins to the best of my ability, right? I would do 2 things. I would hum over the water, right? I'd hold the water, I'd put it in a glass bottle or a glass jar, either a glass bottle or just a glass cup, and I would hold it and I would hum, because water is an incredible substance. Water comes with its own memory. It's like a memory stick, right? It really is like a memory stick, like a USB. Think of water like a USB. Think of this right here. See this? USB. Now, water, when it comes out of a spring, for example, or in a waterfall, it's got its own memory in there. It's the memory of the earth, the cave, the rocks, right? It's got certain memory there, and that's what the water comes with. And as the water goes in its journey, wherever that journey takes the water, it picks up new information, and that new information overrides the previous information. That's the way it works with water, right? Water is like this USB. It comes with pre-installed software in it, which is, very good software, right? Very beneficial software. That would be like the software of the earth, right? The Gaian program, the organic matrix, right? It's got, all this information in it that goes inside your body, cleans you out, activates your pineal gland, right? So if you're drinking, for instance, water that's, from a waterfall, you don't even need to put it in a filter, really. It's already structured by nature. It obviously isn't the best water for you, I'm just saying, but I'm saying it's structured water, and it's got the information, because we're inside a simulation. Everything is an information field, so the information field of that water is beneficial to you, let's say, and as the water goes through its journey, it picks up new software, like a USB deletes the previous software, installs new software. Okay, so because there's I'll talk about this in a second, the water experiment. Okay, but when the water goes through its journey and it becomes tap water, and it goes through those pipes, and it gets fluoride gets added to it, and all kinds of lovely, wonderful toxins, right? Then the water picks up viruses. So those software in this USB, it becomes parasitic, and it's full of viruses. And that's where the water experiment comes in, folks. So the water experiment, this Japanese guy, who I don't even know if he's still alive anymore, but he has these water experiments. People have done it all over the internet. They've experimented with it. They've shared their results. Basically, if you get water, you put it in any bottle, even plastic bottle. But let's say you have this water here, and you have another bottle, and you begin to put your intention into the water. You begin to speak to the water. Use your sound. Use your magic wand, which is your words, the sound vibrations that come out of your mouth. That's why your mouth is your magic wand, right? And then you speak to the water. You're changing the molecular structure. In other words, you're taking out the virus, if let's say the top water is the virus, and you're infusing the water with positive energy. So if you, depending on the level of your intention, by the way, right? If I'm there and I'm speaking to the water, I'm saying I love you, or thank you, I love you, or I'm humming to it. If I'm not focused on the water, it's not gonna change it that much. It's gonna have an effect on it, but it's not gonna change it that much. But if I'm really with the water there, I'm getting a healing set, because I want to heal this sacred substance, this cleansing substance, so it can also cleanse me, right? If I focus on the water and I start to hum over it, then I'm changing the molecular structure. So me and Miranda, we use several different techniques to do this. We hummed over the water. We put the water next to 432 hertz music or any other high vibrational sound frequencies. We'd leave it there for half an hour, sometimes overnight. We'd put stickers on the bottles saying thank you, I love you, so that the water can pick up those frequencies, right? And we also put crystals. We made a crystal water. So we put little crystals. We had those glass jars, those mason jars, right? So you could, fit stuff in there. Because you can fit small crystals in these bottles, right? But in the mason jars, you can fit bigger ones. So we put crystals also, because crystals are powerful. They have their own vibration, and they have the Gaian organic matrix information in there, right? And they're very high vibrational. We put them inside the water, so we do that. We put the crystals inside the water, we hum over the water, put the water next to high vibrational sound frequencies, and then we drink it. Now you may say, does this really work, Saeed? Well, you have to try this for yourself, because the water, so if you get, really toxic tap water, it's hard. When you drink it, it's hard. It's just hard water, okay? After doing this, drink the water, and it's softer. And you have to try this for yourself, folks. You may be like, oh no, Said, you're just being like, you're just like being cloudy, woo woo. You're doing, your hippy dippy bullshit right here in these videos. No, you try this for yourself, folks. The water is softer. It's softer because the water is a USB stick. If you use your intention and you really focus your intention, you can take out the virus and infuse it with beneficial software. Does this work 100%? It depends on the strength of your intention. You could totally transform this water because you're an alchemist. Theoretically, you can totally transform the water, right? Depending on the strength of your intention. If your intention is half-assed, you may remove some of the viruses, but some of the viruses remain. You may infuse it, so it's like, if it's 100% virus, it becomes like 50% virus, 50% beneficial software. Okay? It depends on the strength of your intention and the focus, how focused you are. How much you believe in this process, because this process works. And thousands of people have tried this on their water. They've tried this on bags of rice, right? They put rice inside water, right? They soak it in water and they leave it there every day for an hour. They tell one bag of rice, I love you. The other bag of rice, I hate you. And after a month, the bag of rice that was made love to every day doesn't change whatsoever. The other one that was hated completely rots. Like it's rotten. It's full of like fungus. Go look it up on YouTube. Thousands of people have done these experiments. Water is very responsive to its environment. It's very responsive to human intention. Very responsive, quickly. But you just gotta put in your focused intention into the water. And it is possible to, just using your intention, your mind, remove all the impurities from the water. Although you really need to be focused. Okay? But if you can even remove some of the impurities and change some of the molecular structure, that'd be fantastic. Some of these experiments the Japanese scientists have done, I think, what's his name? Emoto or something? Emoto. He's used also music, right? Classical music. The water creates these beautiful crystals. Heavy metal music creates these disruptive, unpleasant looking crystals. Whereas the classical music would create all these sacred geometrical shapes in the molecular structure of the water. So by putting crystals in there, by humming or putting the water under the influence of sound frequencies, positive, high vibrational sound frequencies, putting stickers on it, with the writing, thank you, I love you, you're changing the molecular structure, you're removing the impurities from the water. Now, if you have access to distilled water, yet you still do all these things with your water. Oh, I forgot another thing, by the way. Sun charging the water. The sun also purifies the water, changes the molecular structure. So, now, imagine you have access to distilled water. And half of you guys watching this, you live in the United States, get your ass to Walmart, they have distilled water. This I highly recommend. If you're not yet at the point where you're ready to take the piss, right? Because the piss is like 10 times more superior than even distilled water, alright? Aged urine, Shivambu, Kalpa is like 100 times more superior than distilled water, which is the best water you can get in a supermarket. I'm saying if you're not yet ready to take the piss, or you're hung up and you don't believe in it and you think it's a waste product, all I'm saying is go do your own research. To he who knows, no explanation is necessary. To he who does not, none is possible. Imagine you have distilled water, and then you put crystals in it, and you expose that water, that distilled water, to positive high vibrational frequencies. Now imagine what kind of water you're creating, what kind of elixir you're manifesting. Now imagine you do that to your own distilled waters, your own piss. I don't do that, by the way. I just drink it or age it, but maybe I should do that, right? It's just, this is already so high, so highly vibrational. It's already vibrating so high, especially the aged stuff, that you don't even need to do anything to it, right? But I'm saying you could do this even to your, you don't have to do this only if you're drinking tap water or if you're drinking bottled water, right? You could do this also to your own piss, your own waters, your own distilled waters. You could do this to your distilled water if you get a distiller at home or something, or if you're buying distilled water from Walmart or some other place. Imagine you still do that. I recommend you still do that. You still put some crystals in there, or just use sound frequency. If you don't have crystals, you're not into crystals, use sound frequency. That'll get the job done. That'll infuse the water with blessedness. This is a water is I mean, this is the cleanser, folks. This is the cleansing of the four elements, the cleanser of the four elements. Now, our bodies are highly toxic because because of what we ate, the vaccines we've been exposed to, the drugs, the pills. I grew up in a house where my father's a doctor. I ate pills for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? And of course, I ate many other things, shawarmas, pizzas, you name it. Cooked foods all my life, right? My body's toxic. And virtually everybody watching this, you've got some level of toxicity in your body. So this is why we get thirsty, by the way. If our bodies were fully clean, we'd maybe not need to drink, or maybe drink like once a day, right? So water is our friend in the process of cleansing, in the process of cleaning our bodies, in the process of getting our energies to be back into a childlike states, cleaning out the body, cleaning out the temple. This is our friend. This is our best friend. Okay, fasting, and then the water, right? I do intermittent dry fasting every day, 16 to 20 hours. But then I drink. I have a drinking window and an eating window, right? Powerful stuff. Powerful stuff. Powerful stuff. Water. Distilled water, right? Distilled. Whether it's your own distilled waters, or whether it's your own aged distilled waters, or whether it's distilled water. Okay? The next best thing after distilled water, for you buying distilled water, would be water from a natural source, from a river, from a waterfall. Okay? So preferably flowing, right? If the water is flowing, if it's stagnant, then it picks up bacteria, parasites, all kinds of things, right? You want it to be moving, flowing. Yeah, water is our best friend in the process of cleansing. Some of you guys who are into detox and cleaning your body and optimizing your energy levels, this is your best friend right now. So it's very important to take care of your best friend, to treat your best friend well. Take the piss is my recommendation, but if you don't want to, distilled water is your next best option. Third best option would be getting water from a natural source. Tap water. Come on, if you're drinking tap water, if you really have to drink tap water, see, we really had to drink tap water. We looked for distilled water everywhere in the town that we were living in. Couldn't find it. Our next thing was to buy, bottled water, bottled spring water. So we just opted for drinking the tap water and purifying it to the best of our ability. So if you drink tap water, make sure you really perform these rituals on your water, because they're full of toxins, man. They're full of impurities. Okay? So that's about it. Bow down to the water. Respect this cleansing element. This is the cleansing of the four elements. It's cleansing, right? This is how we clean ourselves. Okay? Dry fasting is the most powerful way of cleansing, but you have to be hydrated first before. Otherwise, people who die because they don't prepare. Some people, they die from prolonged dry fasts because they don't prepare. They come off like a meat diet or something, and they're so full of toxins, and they jump into like 12, 13-day dry fasts, and some people die, or they really harm their bodies in the process. But if you take your time, hydrate, make best friends with water. Fruits, they got distilled water also, right? They got distilled water. They got high vibrational distilled water inside of them. So fruits are also good to use as allies on the journey of cleansing. High water content fruits, papayas, watermelons, oranges, citrus, incredible. Citrus is incredible. Orange juice, lime juice, lemon water, incredible. If you got distilled water and you squeeze a couple of lemons in there, a couple of limes, that's incredible. Incredible. You do the rituals too, to increase the vibration of the water. Incredible, folks, incredible. And in my early stages of drinking urine, and I was drinking fresh at the time, I only got into Kalpa aged urine recently, Kalpa Shivambu. I only got into it recently, but in the early stages, because I was disgusted from my urine, because by the way, if you're only doing fruits for like a week, your urine tastes like sweet. It actually tastes really like pleasant to drink, right? But I was disgusted early because when I started drinking urine, I was eating like cooked foods, lots of cooked foods, and like spicy things and etc. So my urine didn't have good smell or taste. So I just squeeze in like a few lemons, and then it's like drinking tea, right? It's like the lemon tea. So you could squeeze in, if you're disgusted by your urine, squeeze in a few lemons in there and try it out. It's like lemon tea, you know. And I still, from time to time, will put limes or lemons in my urine. And in that 10 to 20% where I drink water, also sometimes I'll put in some lemons or limes in there, because they're super alkalizing, very high in pH, not on table but inside your body. They're very alkalizing, but also they taste good. I like the taste of them, and yeah, it's distilled water. Right, so moral of the story: distilled water is number one, your own being the top, the king, and then fruit juice being the second one, and then distilled stuff you buy from outside being the third one. Or maybe you can argue that no, distilled is second best, like stuff you buy, say from Walmart, and then fruit juices would be third best. You can argue, you can make the argument, but you can't argue. This is the king right here, your own distilled waters. Next would be water from a natural source, flowing, a waterfall or a river, and then would be a well, and then yeah, and then from there on, you really gotta bless your water, because the options aren't very pleasant, right? Bottled water, tap water, not very good. So you make sure you do those rituals to purify it until you have access to better water, or if you're brave enough to take the piss. You know, once you take the piss, you're free, you're liberated, you have your own supply. You only need to supplement 10% of the time, 20% of the time, if you need that is, right? See, once I'm fully finished aging the urine, because I've got quite a bit of an operation running, then I won't need to supplement with water anymore, because I'll have enough supply all the time. Okay, folks, hopefully you enjoyed this video. And thank you to the patrons for your support, your continued and loyal support. I really appreciate you guys. I love every single one of you. Thank you to all the people who donate via PayPal. Thank you for your generosity. If you would like to donate, financially support this channel, links down below in the description. And until next time, may the force be with you.